Hello everybody, welcome to BuildOrBuy. A little bit, about 5 minutes after 1 o'clock. We meet every Wednesday from 1 to 3. Let's see if that's going to work for us. It's going to take a little time to get used to it. We've been having issues with antenna dropouts back online, and what we're trying to solve was that dropout. Now I talked to Tommy today, and the reason we were having the dropout that started about 3 weeks ago, T-Mobile turned on their devices for those frequencies we were using. I thought we had until 2020. We did not. So Joe and I are still on the old 2 mics, but those other 2 mics that you guys are going to be using in the audience are the new mics. What I want to do is make sure those are going to work before I upgrade these 2 mics. Those mics you won't have to eat. Those are Shure mics. And those are Shure mics in the GLX series. So GLX mics, rack mounted, antenna management, managing the frequencies. And we're in the 2.4 gigahertz. It's what they call the Z band. So hopefully we're not going to have any more issues with noise. Welcome, thanks for joining us. We're going to be here today. We're going to be here next week. Happy holidays, everybody. Some of the things that I had planned on talking about, I'll get to some of the news on the website. I want us to talk about some of the things that are current, but some of the stuff that we sort of did last week, we had a question about today, so I thought we might go through that kind of in a little bit different way. But first I want to start, Joe Wintery had some things he was going to share with us because the issue with spam filters came up. It comes up every once in a while. And so, Joe, would you like to continue?
Yeah. Okay, the problem came up when we couldn't find the emails that Lou Warren sent out to Nick and myself about Glenn. So we decided to check the spam bucket, and that's where they all were. So all of her emails were going into the spam folder. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to set up your Gmail so that you don't have to dump those things in a spam folder. Okay? Am I up there?
You're on screen.
Okay, first you do is you sign into Gmail. I'm on a Gmail page right now looking at a letter from Lou, I guess it is. So what you do is you go to the gear over here, click on the gear.
In the upper right-hand corner.
Go down to settings. And then you get to this page here, and these things in blue are what we're going to talk about today. Up here it says filters and blocked addresses. Click on that. Then we go down to create a new filter down here. Click on that. And then in here you can do one of 2 things, or one of several things. If I wanted to admit letters from Lou Warren, I would put her email address in this box here. But then again, Gil sends his emails out from the same domain, which is BuildOrBuy.net. So if I put Lou Warren's name in here and don't put his in here, I don't get his email. So what I do instead is I type in here is BuildOrBuy.net. What happened to me? Oh, create a new filter. I moved my mouse. So I would type in BuildOrBuy.net. .net. That means anybody that has a BuildOrBuy address will be now allowed through my computer once I complete this. So once I get this thing here, that's all I got to put in there. And then I can go down here and say, create a filter with this search. And I've already got it created, so let's see what happens. Okay, I get this, and I go in here and I check down here. The only thing I'm really worried about now, it says, put your glasses on. It says, never send to spam. So I click that box, and from now on, anything that I get that says BuildOrBuy will not go into my spam filter, it will go into my inbox. Now, or if I wanted to be more specific, I could type in, like I said, I have an email address called ruraltexan@gmail or at mail.com. I could type the same thing in here by doing that, just by typing in, create a new filter. I could type in my full address here, or I could just type in mail.com, which I would never do, because I would get tons of garbage that way, trust me. You have to be very specific in those kind of addresses. So I would put my address in here, create a new filter, just like the last one, and everything comes through normally. So it's easy, it's quick, and we did it on Nick's machine, we did it on my machine, because we were both getting stuff sent to the spam folder automatically. Now those things will not get sent to the spam folder. Any questions? What did we just talk about? Hey, one guy was awake.
Spam filters.
Yeah. Okay, that's really all there is to it. It's a very simple thing to do once you get it figured out.
And it's something you need to go back and check maybe periodically. For example, I've been sending Lou to email all weekend. Finally, I called her because I was concerned about her. I thought something might have happened to her. And I'm fine. Did you get my emails? What emails? I said, did you check your spam filter? So she checked her spam filter with AT&T. And how this all started was, and I need to mention this, how many of you have AT&T? Did y'all get that email probably a couple of months ago that they got hacked? And it happened like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know why AT&T ever got involved with Yahoo. But anyway, Yahoo got hacked. So AT&T sent out a message that said, change your passwords. So that's where that all started. I told Lou, okay, Lou, go up to your AT&T account and change that password. And while we're at it, I'll go change your password on the BuildOrBuy.net mail server. Well, I changed her password on the BuildOrBuy.net mail server, and she didn't know how to get back in. So this was important because sometimes you get spam from different sources. For example, Nick Streeter. My email to Nick Streeter goes to the spam filter sometimes. Now, with the email client, depending on how you have your email client configured, it may be reading and sending certain messages that it sees that it perceives as spam into your spam folder or into the trash. Now, for example, I have one filter set up that anything with a header spam goes to a spam folder, which I then go back and check. And I had some stuff I was sending to Lou that went to that. And that's when I reminded myself, oh, I have a filter set. That's from several years ago when I was getting a ton of stuff. One of the filters that can be used that you had to configure, I believe, is Spam Assassin. And I believe they rewrite the header. And if the header has the word spam in it, that's what I was addressing. If they don't catch it, I do. Or if Kaspersky doesn't catch it, then I do. So anyway, we were dealing with passwords. We were dealing with spam. And I'm going to go into, while I'm at it, I want to go over here to computer number 3, if you guys would. As a side note before I go into this about spam. Yes, ma'am. Can we get a mic back there, please? Thank you. So everybody can hear you online.
I have a question about ATT.
Yes, ma'am.
I just got an email from them saying that all old ATT email accounts will be discontinued.
All old email accounts?
Yes.
When did you get that?
It came from ATT.
No, I said when?
Oh, just within a week.
About a week ago. Well, I do know they were making some changes, but everybody should still have access to their email. The issue that I saw was if you decide to unencumber yourself with their internet service, that you could keep an email address. That they were going to get rid of, originally when they started this back in 99 or 2000, they also gave people some space on a server. And they were getting rid of that, number one. But I have not heard that they were getting rid of email addresses. So could you send me that? I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen anything about that.
Okay.
If that is the case and they are getting rid of your old AT&T email address, what did they give you as an option?
I didn't open it because I thought it may be a spam.
Could be, could be. Send it to me. In fact, what I need you to do is when you send it, if you think it's spam, turn on the filters in your email client. Scratch that. Turn on the headers. Turn on the mail headers. So when you send that to me, I'll see the headers and I'll know where it came from.
Okay,
Because if it is spam, I'll know real quick.
okay,
And then I'll take a look at it and tell you what I found, because I have not seen that. So if they did tell you they're discontinuing, I want to know what their options are. But I will say, if that's real, that's a good reason to have an alternate email address, like a Gmail account. A Gmail account is handy because that's a Google address. And if you've got a Google address, for example, when you log into YouTube to subscribe to BuildOrBuy, you have to have a Google account. So if you have a Gmail account, that's part of the Google account.
okay.
So that's a good idea to have. Somebody else had called me a couple of weeks ago, said they were going to be here, and I forgot about it until you mentioned it. Used to be a member of How PC, and I said, well, come to the meeting, and then the cell phone cut out. They didn't call back, and I didn't have time either. But they were dealing with the issue of how to get off of HowNet, and we were going to help them with that. I don't know if they came last week or not. I don't remember. There's been too many things going on. But send me that email, and I'll take a look at it. Okay. Back to what I was going to share with you on this. Let's go to computer number 3. Before I get into showing those filters, I wanted to share this with you. I know we have some folks that love dogs, pets, animals. I love dogs. And got to see Ray and Melanie Morris about a week ago, and we were talking about dogs. And she sent me this the other day, and I thought it was kind of neat. This is Lexi. She's an 8-week-old German Shepherd. Good-looking dog, very attentive. This guy said, I bought Lexi as a surprise for my wife, but it turns out she's allergic to long-haired dogs. Therefore, we're now looking to find her a new home. She's 65 years old, an attractive and caring woman who drives, is a great cook, and keeps a clean house. I thought y'all get a kick out of that. Because Melanie sent it, I thought it was appropriate to share it. Okay, I'm going to go to my email client. I'm going to go to bring up the menu, so I'll hit the Alt key. I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to look at Account Settings. And for one of the email addresses I have, I'm going to go to Junk Settings. I'll use this email address, fairhaven@builderbuy.net. I'll go to Junk Settings. See if I can open this up just a little bit. And let's see if I can zoom in on this. Okay, enable adaptive junk mail controls for this account. I think by default that's off. Did somebody say something? Yep. Oh, the split screen's doing it again. Give me just a second. I've got to make a change. Thank you. Okay. Because this is set up for 2 monitors, I'm going to probably be doing 3 monitors later. When we do the graphics and I have that on, it doesn't like it with the switch. So that's when that happens. Thanks for telling me, because I don't see it unless I look. Okay, as I was saying, I don't think this is turned on by default, but this is what you want to do. Enable adaptive junk mail controls for this account. And you have to train the program Thunderbird to identify junk. Sometimes it will still misidentify. So you have to keep working with it. But it's pretty good and pretty thorough. But I also say do not automatically mark mail as junk if it's in my collected address or personal address book. Now, it doesn't look at mail headers. So if someone forges a mail, I might still get an erroneous email from somebody because it's been forged. So I have to be very, very careful. But this is the first place to start. I'm going to scroll down and look at some other stuff. Now, I'm using Trust Junk Mail Headers set by Spam Assassin. I've got these other filters that I'm not familiar with. Spam Assassin is what I use, is what I've always used, but you have to configure it and tell it to use that. That's an online, it's free. As far as I know, the others are free, but that's the one I've always used. So I have that checked, Trust Junk Mail Header sent by Spam Assassin. And then I scroll on down and it says, if enabled, Thunderbird will automatically consider messages marked by this external classifier as junk. So then what I do is I don't have them deleted, I just tell it to move it to the junk folder. So then even though I put them in a special place, I give them special attention and I go look at them. So I try not to let somebody get past me. And the reason I'm telling you this now, sometimes some things will happen. For example, about a week ago, one of these goofy sites that tries to hit your system, and I don't know if this came in through a web page I was looking at or from an email, because at that particular time, I had an attack, and all my defenses were up. But when it came to me, there was a screen on the browser that said, there's an update for the browser, which is, let me zoom back out of this. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. It looked very official, and it looked something like, bring up the default. It had the pretty colors. Let me see if I can go to their site. It looked very official, but it was for a domain that I'd never heard of. I copied the URL out. Let me see if this will show it. No, didn't look anything like this, but it looked official. It had the colors for Firefox, but it was all one solid page and said you need to download this update. Now in the background, yes sir, Ed.
I had the same thing happen to me.
And did you have another little box that popped up that says there's a file.js, which is a JavaScript file that you need to install?
I'm not sure about that.
Wow.
But I did get a hold of the people,
URL?
Yeah, and they said, look, Firefox automatically updates theirs.
Yes.
And said, it was getting blocked by, I believe it was Malware Bytes.
Yes.
Blocking it.
Yes.
And they said, look, don't fool with it. They update their own, so I left it alone.
You see that page that'll pop up, and then in the background I saw this box behind my email client that said, here's this JavaScript file, whatever.js, you need to install it. I'm like, I don't think so. I was born at night, but not last night. And I've seen this before, and it does it the same way every time. But I was able to go search that domain name, and that domain name was real. Whereas last time I went searching for the domain name, and the domain name was gone by the time I went looking for it, which was really strange. So whoever these scammers are that are camping out, you know, they're using that human engineering where they think they're going to take advantage of your confidence and try and trick you. Be very, very leery and very, very aware of stuff like that. As you said, your browser and your email client will automatically update. But if they don't, what you want to do is like here from the browser. I'm going to push down the control key, the alt key, and notice the menu pops up. I press the alt key, the menu pops up, I can click on Help About. And if I look at About, and it shows me right here what's going on. And this says, Firefox is up to date. I'm also running the 64-bit version. If I was not running the current version, it would automatically update when I bring up this box. Usually when you close the browser and bring the browser back up, it will update. Sometimes it may not, but this will. This will show it. And there will be a button in there that says restart. You restart, you're back in business. Like it said, you don't want to go to some page to do something or download some JavaScript to do something for someone trying to win your confidence. Pay attention to this. Now, what's important here, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Firefox is upgraded to a 64-bit version. If you still have the 32-bit version of the browser, for that, if you want the 64-bit version, go to Mozilla. Go to Mozilla's website, and you can now download as an alternate the 64-bit version, and they will tell you uninstall the 32-bit version, then install the 64-bit version. But what I did was I downloaded one machine, still had the 32-bit, so I downloaded the 64-bit version first, then I uninstalled the 32-bit version, then I installed the 64-bit version. They look the same, but I've got a 64-bit computer. I wanted the 64-bit browser. So that's my 2 cents on that. So let me back out of this. I wanted to share that with you. I thought it was kind of important, kind of relevant. Now, do we need to go any more into these filters? Because again, still sometime this will happen. But each one of these, I've got 2 different email accounts on this machine. I have them both set for Spam Assassin. And I do not let it automatically delete junk mail. I go and I look at that folder so that I can determine what I want to do, how I want it to behave. So I manually check each message.
Okay, that's all.
But remember, if you get a suspect message, do not double click and open it, because you might be executing whatever payload is in it.
George just called. He says it's like watching a silent movie.
It's like watching a silent movie, no sound.
Right.
We're not getting any sound. Tell him I said thank you for calling. There's no sound coming out. I'm showing sound going in. Wow. Give me just a second while I check. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Testing 1, 2. No audio.
Were you going to show me how to make a recovery disk today?
We're getting to it.
What program are you using for backup?
Right now.
Reflect?
Acronis, but I want to go to image to
Well, they're all the same.
Macrium.
They're all the same. Okay. While he's doing that, watch what we're doing. Here we go. Just for you, Mel. No, you can't watch. This is for Mel. Yeah. If I knew how to do that. I know. Can you put me on the screen, Gil?
Yeah, you're up on the screen. They've got the switch. I'm trying to figure out why we're not getting audio online.
Okay.
We should be.
Okay. I'm going to bring up Reflect. Okay? Now, here's the front page of Reflect. Your choices are image to computer, create an image, or other tasks. You want other tasks. And then down here it says the first option is create a bootable rescue media. Click that. Okay? And then it says, talk about the rescue wizard. You want to change the PE version? I don't change it. I just leave it like it is. Hit next. Next. And then it wants to update my computer, but I'm going to let that do that later. When you get to this point here, it's got everything it needs. Just hit finish, and it will go ahead and create the rescue media and burn it to a CD or a DVD if you want. That's all there is to it. It's very, very simple. Oh, definitely CD. I've only used a DVD one time in my life, and that was today. To create a rescue media.
Very sensitive.
This just boots a Linux version of Reflect. And why does it do that? Remember we talked about this last week? Someone once said in here that if you bring up Reflect, matter of fact, I got it here. Cancel. If I bring up Reflect here, and I want to image this, or clone this disk, or no, I wanted to restore the disk, and one of the options is restore it to the C drive that you're working on now. That's not an option. You cannot restore to the C drive if you're booting from that C drive. It will not let you. So what the rescue disk does is it puts a Linux version of Reflect and boots on that, so your machine now is not using the C drive at all, and that will allow you to restore it.
Joe, does that apply to cloning back also for the same reason?
Yeah, you can't clone back to the C drive if you boot from the C drive.
I thought it would just reboot, but it won't. You have to go to the rescue disk.
You gotta go through the rescue disk, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah,
If you want, as an alternative.
I know, but that's new technology, and I'm not there yet.
I wasn't there either until my DVD drive died, and so I had no alternative.
No, yeah, I've been using, matter of fact, in my case, I got all of my boot thumb drives in there for Clonezilla, for Windows, and so on and so forth. So yeah, they'll all do, as long as your machine is new enough to be able to boot from a thumb drive, that's probably the way to go. So all you need for that is a 4 gig thumb drive. 4 gig USB 2. You don't need USB 3 for that. Yeah, I did before. Every time you upgrade your Macrium Reflect, make a new CD, a new recovery disk with the new version of Reflect. Otherwise, you might have a problem reloading that program.
Joe, does that apply to every little, I mean, you know, they upgrade it ad nauseum. They've just had an upgrade from 6 to 7, but
Well-
they've had dozens of interim upgrades at level 6.
Normally, from 6 to 7 is a major update. When the first digit goes up, that normally is a whole new program, and it's a definite you got to do that. Now, the smaller ones, probably not. Matter of fact, the ones, I have like half a dozen rescue disks, and I have marked on them the version that I've got, that I use to make the backup. So when I go through my machine on my S drive at home, which is all my backups, all my images, I check the dates on them, and when the dates get too old, I just delete them, and then I can throw those CDs away. Yeah, I got a 3 terabyte hard drive I use just for backing up my machines, and all of them are images that I put on that. Okay, anything else?
I have a question, Joe. Just one of my CD, DVD drives died, I guess. The power would come on. You can open and close the drive, but
But the bulb burned out, probably.
well, yeah, because it doesn't recognize the drive. The system doesn't.
The LED that they use in there is probably burned out. Just chuck it.
Yeah.
They're not worth trying to fix.
Oh yeah.
You get them, what, $12, $15 now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 12, 15 at the most.
Yeah. So just throw them away. As a matter of fact, any new machine I have or get, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, will not have a DVD in there at all. Right now I got 2 DVD RWs in my desktop, and in one in another computer across the hall, across the room, and another one in the home theater PC. But my new ones won't have that at all. Jack.
I've had a problem lately with a scam website page that keeps popping up. It seems to be only when I'm using webmail at Earthlink online, and it tells me my computer's got a virus, yada, 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 yada. Call this number and we'll be glad to take care of you. There's no problem to get rid of. I mean, I can, wipe it out using Control-Alt-Delete. And
You don't really want to do that, though.
why?
What you want to do is bring up Process Explorer,
Okay.
and then when you close it, it'll turn red, and you can find out not only what the program is, but what's triggering it. And what you really want to do is next time it comes up, just don't delete it, kill it, and go back to the program that's bringing it up and delete that.
Get rid of the trigger.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That answers my question, I guess.
Yeah, because I tell you that Explorer Process Explorer is a really good program to learn
Yeah.
how to use.
I should have thought of that, and I didn't.
Joe, I was wondering if maybe we could go over the recovery disk for Windows 10 in the meantime.
I tried to use that Microsoft recovery system one time.
Or is it called recovery repair, I think? Is
Yeah, recovery
that what I'm
repair,
asking for?
yeah.
Okay.
And inevitably it says it can't be repaired. I have yet to have one that could be repaired. And so that's why I back up, I image at least once a week. And so if I image my machine, like say, last time I did it was like Friday. If I lost my main machine right now, I would lose the emails I had between Friday and today, but that's really all I would lose.
Yeah,
And I don't, and all of those are stored on the server anyway, so I don't really lose them. I can call them up.
yeah, well, that's what I wind up having to do, was to do a re-image.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if there was still a recovery disk available for Windows 10.
Well, if you go through the Windows 10, and I don't have one of the disks here, I can't show you, but it'll say repair, and it might say repair your boot. Go ahead and do that, try that, because that's just making repairs to individual devices, and it may be able to bring you back up. But as far as re-imaging the disk, you know, they're going to give you the basic, this is what we put on there when you bought the machine, and this is what you're going to get back. So everything you've put on there is gone.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I'm a big fan of using things like Reflect or, what's the other ones? Aegis to do.
Aegis?
Yeah, and even Acronis. Let's face it, all of these Aegis and Macrium, they all came from Acronis anyway. They all work the same way. So if you know how to use one, you know how to use them all.
Right.
And the difference is Acronis you pay for and the others are free. But, yeah, I back my machines up every week. I got to leave them on Saturday night, and on Sunday morning, around 1 o'clock, they start backing up. One of them backs up from 1 to 3, one of them backs up from 3 to 5, one of them backs up from 5 to 7. So,
Then what is one to do if you allow Microsoft to update your operating system and you go like 2 or 3 hours already invested in allowing them to update, and then it crashes again? I'll have to start from square one again. I thought that the recovery CD would at least repair it so it could continue and move on with the updating your operating system with Microsoft.
I haven't used a Microsoft recovery disk CD for that purpose in years. And now my attitude is I don't really need one because of all my backups available. But you're right. If you've got, you know, you let Microsoft update your machine, and I don't even know what I got on this one here. Don't you let Microsoft update your machine? No, but what I've been doing is delaying it several weeks, because if they have a really a bad thing in there for this update on Tuesday, on yesterday's update was bad, they'll have it repaired, a lot of them repaired by the following Tuesday, so that when they update then, they clear up some of the glitches they gave you the week before. So if you just wait a week and let them update it, or 2 weeks, then you still get your updates automatically. It's just that you get fewer bad updates. I've had a lot of video card problems and audio problems with Microsoft automatic updates. And I'm sure Gil has too. I know we've talked about it. Yeah. So, but yeah, this one here is, you know, this is updated, and it's, I don't know when we updated it last week here in class, didn't we? And it came to the point where they said they were done, and so he says, don't turn off your machine because we have updates. I turned it off anyway, took it home, turned it on, and from that point they picked up the updates, and you can see I'm running 1709, build 19. So this is really up to date. And keep in mind, this is a 9-year-old computer as of right now. Yes?
In terms of updates obsoleting what you just backed up and that sort of thing, you know, if you'll just program your device to back up on Wednesdays from starting at 1 o'clock. You'll always have one. Every week you won't have to do anything about it. And if there's something wrong with it, last Wednesday's still there, so you can restore to that. So there's really no excuse for not having an image of your C drive per the last Wednesday every week. Nobody sitting in here can get excused for not having an image of your C drive no more than 7 days old.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I know, but I've got a microphone, see, so.
No, I agree. The Wednesday's a good thing, but when I go home, I got other things to do on Wednesday, and I don't want to go home to find out the computer's crashed. So, I'd rather find out on a Monday morning than on a Wednesday just before martini time starts. Does everybody here now have Windows 1709? On one unit?
Not me.
Oh, good. I've got. Oh, then you got 1703 or 1603? Then you need you got an update coming. Because the current one, as you can see, is 1709. Good luck. And it's 16299.19. This is the current version. It's 1709 is the build. 16299.19 is directly below the 1709. Is that what you got, Ben?
I'm looking for settings, right?
You're still, okay, you're one back up. Yeah.
If you start installing 1709 and it fails, what can you do?
That's Philip's question.
Well, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
When Microsoft started installing 1709, it failed. They tried 3 or 4 times and it failed each time. So what can I do?
Just hold tight, because they've probably got a key driver that won't install, and they'll probably fix it. And I tell you what you could do if you wanted to. You go back to where it says, go into your settings, updates and security, and check for updates. About a week after they tried it the last time, check for updates, and they'll probably say you have an update. Tell them to update it again and try it again. That's the good part about this thing. It will allow you to keep trying.
Okay, I have version 1607 OS build 14393.1770.
Let me back up, Mel, because I think you're way back there.
Yeah, I do too, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I did, I clicked on the start and typed WinVer to find out what I had.
WinVer is the same thing as doing what I'm doing, basically.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah, okay. Then just do what I just said. Go to updates and security, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and check for updates. I bet you if you did that right now, they'd tell you have updates available. And if they say you have updates available and it shows other things like Office and so on and not Windows, that means they're not ready for your machine yet. But you will get it eventually. Yes, sir.
It's still checking.
This window that screen that you're displaying on Windows specs, if you'd scroll down on that a bit. Okay, OS build. I'm looking at my screen and I have the same thing, but underneath OS build, I've got another entry. It says serial number. Why do I have a serial number and you don't?
It might be how we got our Windows 10. Did you buy your Windows 10 or did you just get it upgraded from an installation of 7 or 8?
No, this came with Windows 10 on it.
That's why.
Oh,
See,
okay.
this thing came with, what, XP on there or something like that. And I've been updating it. But
Okay.
But no, I don't have a serial number on mine because I don't need it. And as a matter of fact, if I were to lose this together and just say, okay, chuck it all, I'm going to start from scratch and reinstall it brand new, I don't even need the key because Microsoft has it now. And they'll say, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He's got that computer, already, and it's already been checked out, and I could reinstall Windows 10 on this machine without even worrying about a key.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got 1703, and I downloaded it last week, and it wiped out my ability to use Microsoft Edge, and it wiped out my ability to use the Wi-Fi printer.
Yeah. That's understand. Like I say, I've had a lot of problems with Microsoft updates, but they used to be famous for wiping out your video card and your audio system. I can't tell you how many times they've done that to me. But are you recovered from it right now?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you recovered from that right now?
I had Internet Explorer on there, and it lets me use that.
Okay. You might want to try Firefox too. Or Chrome, or any one of those guys. I don't use Edge not because I don't like it. I just don't want to have things forced down my throat.